Man. What's up, Goof fam? Hey, we got some sticky today. Like, this is some sticky. Sometimes we're gonna have the fun, just look at these idiots on the channel and just, but today it's gonna be about some real life, real stuff basically. I don't know if y'all are aware that there's a story out in South Carolina, September 2021 actually. Updated September 21st, actually, this year, about a week or so ago, basically. There was a father who basically got up. He has 1-year-old twins. Got up, taking his twins to daycare, and then going to work himself, and then going to pick his twins up from daycare. The only problem is once the dad gets up, he goes to work. He leaves work. 8-9 hour shift, then goes to the daycare to pick up the twins. And the daycare tell him the twins never arrived here today. So they look around, and then he, I guess, has a kind of a aha moment, and he goes back to his car and notices his twins, both of them, and still in the back seat, still in their car seats, and now deceased basically. They died from hypothermia. This is like coming towards the end of summer, basically, when some of the hottest months. They died from, I believe they call it hypothermia, basically a heat stroke. It's tragic, man. It's sad. It's tragic because I know everyone's first inclination and thought is how do you leave your twins, your babies, in the backseat of a vehicle? I get it. It was my first thought as well, but I instantly then go into, how does that happen? Why does that happen? Like, a lot of people are also, he needs to be in jail. That's how a lot of people feel. A lot of people feel the only way to punish someone is by putting them in jail. Like Richland County Sheriff Department, they did a 3-week full investigation on, is there any probable cause? Is there anything to gain from having these twins dead, basically, like any insurance policies or anything like that? He's not going to jail. They viewed it as a tragic accident, meaning, from their investigation, they did deem this to just be a complete, total accident. A tragic one. Just costly. The family himself are already going to pay for this for the rest of their lives. He's never going to get over this. Like that. He's going to eat him for the rest of his life. His twins. Oh, they're gone. So, like I said, I get it. The first, you guys' first thoughts that you want to have, twin boys, man, gone. Someone has to pay, basically. Well, as that sign says, only God can judge me, but only God can judge you, and only God can judge him as well. It's not up to you. It's not up to myself. It's not up to anyone else to determine how someone pays for something. Those were his boys. He's paying. He's going to pay for it. And internally, first off, he's paying. Trust me, he's going to pay for it. You've done ever done anything fucked up, and it's still eating at you. You know how he's going to pay for it. It's never going to get over that. So like I said, the investigators, they said the raw emotion that he had in the interview while talking about it, they said no one can fake that. No one can fake it. So what I want to get into is, like I said, I look into it. My first thought when I heard it, outside of what everyone around social media was saying, my first thought was, I wonder if he takes the children to daycare on the daily basis. Because before I did any more research, my first thought was, if he takes them to daycare on a daily basis, because I know there's your mind, the way your mind works. Your mind gets into a routine. When you've done that routine for so long and then something kinks into it, it doesn't always click into the new thing that you're doing for some people right away, basically. So I wonder, and I still don't know, even from reading the stories and everything, I don't know if that's something that he did on a regular. But I know on this day, whatever happened, it happened, man. So from my thought of if he takes them on a regular basis and knowing how minds work when they kind of go into autopilot when you're maybe tired, kind of just floating through the day, you know, your body's naturally doing what it naturally does, kind of like a reflex. Like you wake up, wash your face, brush your teeth, maybe get something to eat, get dressed, go to the car. Sometimes you do it and you don't even realize you've just done all that. Have you not ever looked back and be like, how the hell did I get here? Like, and it's just like space gone, basically. But I researched it, and this is common. This is not a one-time incident thing. This is common. More than 900 children have died in hot cars in the U.S. since 1990. Yearly, that's 38 kids a year on average die from this. That's one every 9 days. And again, they say it's more prevalent in the months from April to September. Those are the hotter months, basically. But it's relevant. It happens a lot. So I'm still like, why? Why is it happening? So I researched a little more. There's something called forgotten baby syndrome. And I'm like, what is forgotten baby syndrome? I see when I had my thoughts, I thought nothing about a syndrome, nothing about a disability, nothing about mental or anything like that. I'm just like, it's just your mind just kept doing what it normally does, basically. So I look into it. It says Diamond explained that when there's competition between the brain's habit memory and prospective memory, that means when your brain is doing what it always does versus what it's doing right now in this very moment, and the habit memory kind of takes over and wins that battle, basically. Okay, so habit memory system takes over, and that's how forgotten baby syndrome occurs, basically. So I look into it. It's a whole syndrome behind it. Okay, David Diamond, he's basically the science behind the syndrome, basically. A professor of psychology at the University of South Florida has worked closely with kids and cars.org. He focuses on cognitive neuroscience, including the neurobiology of forgotten baby syndrome. He has a theory on how a caring, competent parent can forget their children in the car. It don't say a drug addict. It doesn't say an alcoholic. It says a caring and full competent parent can forget their children in the car. Diamond's research led him to conclude that the reason is a failure of the memory system, your memory system, my memory system, their memory system. It's just control of your mind. Like this, everyone knows this is the most precious thing that we have, and it can do whatever it wants to do, basically. There's a system called Prospective Memory, which involves the intent to remember to complete tasks out of your ordinary routine. And as I said, my first thought was, is he the person that normally drops the kids off at daycare? Because it's the ability to remember things outside of your regular, normal routine. Okay, he wrote, and there's a system called habit memory, which is akin to being on autopilot. Habit, autopilot. You're just doing it naturally, what you naturally do, basically. So, perspective, habit. Okay, picture it. Okay. Your wife may usually take the children to daycare, right? For whatever reason, car's down, she's not feeling well. So for a whole year, your wife has been the one taking the children to daycare. You get off work and you pick them up. For a whole year, that's been your routine. Get up, go to work. Now, I also read that, he had a lot of stuff going on at work which was also clouding his mind as well. So, I don't know, guys. But you get up, kids get packed into the car, you drive to work, you pull up at work. In your mind, I've dropped the kids off at daycare. It's hard, man. It's hard. All right. You get out, kids are asleep, so there's no crying baby or anything like that happening in the back seat. So there's nothing to kind of jog your memory, basically. Like, oh, I forgot to drop the kids off at daycare. Me personally, I don't do drugs. I don't drink. I don't smoke. I don't do anything. A very competent, loving parent. I have done this to a lesser degree, basically. My wife is the one who usually gets up, would drop my daughter off at daycare, and I would pick her up from daycare, getting off work. One morning, it fell off on me. So a year and a half later, it fell off on me. Hey, got to drop the baby off at daycare this morning. So I load her up and I take off. And before I know it, I just pulled up at work, basically. Somewhere in between me leaving the house, knowing that my daughter's in the backseat, I got to take her to daycare, something else just kind of flipped. And before you know it, you just kind of probably just take your regular route of going to where I pulled up at work. Now, fortunate enough is I realized it before I ever got out the car. I'm like, damn, I forgot to drop my baby off. I had to turn all the way around, drive, take her to daycare, and then come back to work. But I'm just rationalizing how fast and how easy that can happen. And if you don't just realize it in that moment, you're in work and you're not thinking anything of it because you already did it. It's sad, y'all. And some people think that this just doesn't happen, but this happens to such a degree that car manufacturers are actually looking to adding alarms in the backseat of cars like Hyundai. They're looking to add alarms in the backseat of cars that kind of remind you to check the backseat. Other things you could do from my research, from cars, kidsandcars.org, what it is, you can have a stuffed animal or something that's in the car seat when you get in the car, but once you put your kid in the car seat, you kind of bring that stuffed animal up front. Okay? You can have something important like your purse, your bag, that you set it in the back seat. That way you know at some point you're going to see the back seat of that vehicle. Or if you see that stuffed animal on the front seat of your vehicle, then you know someone basically is in the car seat in the back. Those two things you can do: stuffed animal up front, something important that you know you have to grab out the back seat before you proceed, basically. A bag, a purse, computer, laptop, your phone, maybe. Whatever it is, put it in the back seat. That way when you open that back seat, oh shit, I forgot to drop off my babies. You look to your front passenger seat, oh shit, my baby's in the back seat. I forgot to drop off my baby, because that's what that stuffed animal is telling you. Now they're working on this. Like I said, it's one every 9 days, y'all. One every 9 days, every year, this happens. Don't be that parent. Don't be that parent fighting for your freedom, trying to prove if it was an accident or not. Don't be that parent, y'all. Forgotten baby syndrome is real. Share this with somebody, man. Please share this with somebody. If you got kids, try to take those measures. Like I said, you would like to think that, oh, this will never happen to me. And it may never will. But it might happen to somebody you know. like I said, if you get stuck in a routine, it can happen. Like it's probably happened to some of y'all. If at some point you've ever ended up someplace and don't realize how you got there outside of I know I drove here, let me know in the comments. If you have witnessed or felt this or seen a story like this, maybe in real life, or know someone where that this has happened to, let me know in the comments, man. Let's open up the dialogue. Goo Gang, we out. Peace.